Listen carefully. Not all power makes noise. Some of the strongest energy in this world moves in silence. It does not seek attention. It does not ask for approval. It simply exists, steady, grounded, and undeniable. There are women who carry this presence. When they enter a room, nothing dramatic happens. Yet everything subtly shifts. Conversations soften, eyes turn, energy changes. Not because they try, but because they have mastered something most people never even notice. I am Heng. In this video, you will discover 3 rare signs found only in high vibrational women. These are not common traits you see on the surface. They are deeply rooted in discipline, awareness, and inner stillness, principles aligned with ancient Shaolin teachings. You will begin to understand why these women are often misunderstood, why they choose silence over noise, and why their presence feels different without explanation. There is a hidden truth behind their calm nature, a truth shaped by solitude, emotional control, and a level of self-mastery that cannot be faked. Many people spend their entire lives chasing this state, but only a few cultivate it. Stay with me until the end, because the final sign is the most subtle, yet the most powerful. Once you recognize it, you will never see people the same way again. Welcome to Heng Chronicles, where we explore the path of discipline, awareness, and inner strength. Subscribe and begin your journey. Silence is where the untrained mind becomes restless, and the disciplined mind becomes clear. Rare sign number 1 reveals itself in moments most people try to escape. A pause in conversation, a space where no one speaks. For many, this space feels heavy, almost uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with words, laughter, or distraction. Not because they have something meaningful to say, but because they cannot sit with the stillness. A high vibrational woman moves differently. When silence appears, she does not resist it. She enters it. There is no urgency in her presence, no pressure to perform. She understands that silence is not emptiness, it is awareness without noise. In Shaolin training, we sit in stillness for long periods, not to avoid the world, but to understand it more clearly. Thoughts arise, emotions shift, impulses push for expression. Yet, with discipline, we learn not to follow every impulse. She has cultivated this same discipline in her daily life. You will notice that she listens fully, not just to words, but to pauses, to energy, to what remains unsaid. When others speak quickly to be heard, she listens deeply to understand. This is why her presence feels calm, even in chaotic spaces. She does not rush to fill gaps in conversation, because she is not afraid of being seen without words. Silence, for her, is not awkward, it is natural. It is where she remains connected to herself. There is a quiet confidence in this. She does not need constant expression to validate her existence. She does not need noise to feel secure. In stillness, she is already complete. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space, true mastery is revealed. Most people move too quickly to notice it. An emotion rises and they become it. Anger speaks through them. Fear controls their decisions. Excitement pulls them away from clarity. They believe they are choosing, but in truth, they are reacting. A trained mind moves differently. Like one who has spent years in meditation, she does not rush to act on the first wave of feeling. She pauses, not out of confusion, but out of awareness. In that brief moment, she watches what is happening within her. She observes the tightening in her chest, the shift in her breath, the thoughts forming beneath the surface. This is not suppression. Nothing is pushed away. Everything is seen. In ancient practice, the mind is often compared to the sky and emotions to passing clouds. Most people chase the clouds, they follow them, get lost in them, and forget the sky itself. But one who is trained remembers. She does not become the storm, she allows it to pass. There is a quiet strength in this discipline. It requires patience to sit with an emotion without immediately expressing it. It requires clarity to separate what is felt from what is true. Over time, this practice creates space within the mind, space where wiser decisions can emerge. You may notice that she rarely reacts impulsively, not because she feels less, but because she understands more. She has learned that not every feeling deserves action, and not every thought deserves a voice. In this way, her responses become intentional. Calm replaces chaos, awareness replaces habit, and slowly, without force, she begins to move through life with a steadiness that cannot be easily shaken. The need for approval is a subtle form of dependence, and most people never realize how deeply it controls them. From a young age, many are conditioned to seek validation. Praise becomes a reward, acceptance becomes a goal. Slowly, decisions are no longer guided by truth but by reaction. What will be liked, what will be accepted, what will be approved. In this state, the mind is never fully at rest. It is always measuring, always adjusting, always seeking. But there are those who step out of this pattern. A high vibrational woman does not use approval as her fuel. She has learned to sit with herself long enough to understand her own values. Through reflection and discipline, she builds an inner compass that does not shift with every opinion around her. This is not arrogance, it is clarity. There is an old teaching that says, when you know where you stand, the noise around you loses its power. She embodies this. When others praise her, she does not become inflated. When others doubt her, she does not shrink. Both are simply external movements passing through her awareness without defining it. This kind of stability is cultivated over time. It is built in moments when she chooses what is right over what is easy, when she remains aligned with her principles, even if it means standing alone. These moments strengthen something within her that no external voice can replace. You may notice that she does not constantly explain herself. She does not chase agreement. Her actions come from a place that is already decided. There is a quiet certainty in how she moves, as if she is guided from within rather than pulled from without. In this way, her energy remains steady, not because the world is stable, but because she is. Energy is not something you find, it is something you protect. Rare sign number 2 appears in a way that is often misunderstood. Many believe kindness means giving endlessly, being available to everyone, responding to everything. But over time, this creates exhaustion. The mind becomes crowded, the spirit becomes weak. Without realizing it, they have given away the very force that sustains them. A high vibrational woman moves with a different awareness. She has learned, often through experience, that not everything deserves her energy. Not every conversation needs her voice. Not every situation needs her presence. She does not give attention easily because she understands attention is life force. In ancient teachings, energy is cultivated slowly but can be lost quickly. A single moment of unconscious reaction can drain what took hours of stillness to build. This is why discipline becomes essential. She observes where her focus goes. She notices what leaves her feeling expanded and what leaves her feeling diminished. There is a quiet precision in her choices. She does not engage in unnecessary conflict. She does not entertain empty distractions. When something feels misaligned, she withdraws without resistance, not out of avoidance, but out of understanding. To others, this may seem distant. Some may even call it cold. But this is not a lack of care. It is a deeper form of respect for her time, her mind, and her inner state. She knows that when her energy is scattered, her clarity fades, and when clarity fades, so does her power. So she becomes selective, not out of fear, but out of mastery. Her attention is not given to everything, only to what aligns, what nourishes, and what truly matters. To care deeply without losing yourself, this is a rare form of balance. Many people confuse love with attachment. They hold tightly, fearing loss. They depend on others for stability, for identity, for emotional grounding. When the connection shifts, they feel shaken, as if something essential has been taken from them. What they call love is often a quiet form of clinging, but there are those who learn a different way. A high vibrational woman understands that care does not require possession. She can be present, supportive, and deeply compassionate, yet remain rooted within herself. She does not disappear into others. She does not build her sense of self around someone else's presence. In ancient thought, attachment is seen as the source of unnecessary suffering, not because connection is wrong, but because unconscious attachment creates fear, the fear of losing, the fear of change, the fear of being alone. She has faced these fears within herself. Through reflection and discipline, she has learned to stand independently. So when she loves, it is not out of need, it is out of wholeness. You may notice that she allows people to be who they are. She does not try to control outcomes or force connections to stay the same. There is a quiet trust in how she relates to others. If something is meant to remain, it will. If it changes, she accepts it without resistance. This does not make her distant. It makes her stable. Her care is genuine because it is not driven by fear. Her presence is grounding because it is not dependent. In this way, she creates connections that feel light yet meaningful, strong yet free, a form of love that does not bind, but allows both people to remain whole. Solitude is not emptiness. It is a quiet forge where the mind and spirit are refined. Rare sign number 3 is found in those who do not fear being alone. While most rush to fill their days with people, noise, and distraction, she seeks moments of stillness. She understands that true growth cannot happen in the constant clamor of the world. It is in the silence of her own company that she becomes sharper, clearer, and more aligned with herself. In ancient practice, monks and warriors spent years in isolation, not to escape life, but to prepare for it. They confronted their own fears, desires, and weaknesses without distraction. In solitude, every thought and emotion becomes visible. The unexamined mind is clouded. The examined mind becomes precise. She applies this same principle. Each moment alone is a mirror, reflecting truths that might otherwise be hidden in the rush of interaction. You may notice that she does not seek approval when she is alone. She does not need validation to feel complete. Instead, she listens to the quiet within, her thoughts, her patterns, her instincts. She observes what surfaces, and she allows it to guide her toward clarity. In this way, solitude becomes a tool, not a punishment. It is where habits are refined, where patience is cultivated, and where inner strength is forged. Those who fear being alone are often controlled by the energy of others. She, however, has learned to be her own anchor. Her calm is not borrowed, it is cultivated. And when she returns to the world after these periods of reflection, her energy is different, centered, rare, and undeniably strong. Solitude does not weaken her, it sharpens her. It is the quiet ground from which her presence and her power naturally rise, unshakable and luminous. High vibrational women are not rare because of chance, they are rare because of choice. They step off the path of distraction and constant reaction, and instead walk a path of quiet discipline, of mindful presence. They master silence, cultivate awareness, and protect their energy, understanding that true power begins within. Like Shaolin practitioners, they train their minds in stillness, allowing solitude to shape their clarity and move through the world with steady, intentional steps. Their strength is subtle, yet unmistakable, felt deeply by those around them, even if it cannot be seen at first glance. The lesson for all of us is simple. Begin to notice where your energy flows. Embrace moments of silence. Respond with awareness rather than reaction. Guard what matters most, and let your inner discipline guide your daily life. These small, consistent choices create a presence that is rare, calm, and undeniably powerful. Carry this wisdom with you gently. Let it inspire reflection, growth, and a deeper connection with yourself. And if you found value in this journey, join us on Heng Chronicles, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and continue exploring the path of inner mastery together. Peace begins within, and from there, it touches everything around you.